Chapter 12. Dawn. Bepo was billed to jet out with Emirates Airline at 10 p.m. on Saturday. He knew boarding rites might not start until around 5 p.m., but he was determined to be at the airport as early as possible. He learned his lesson 6 years earlier when he missed his British Airways flight during a visit to his family. Although the plane had yet to take off, it had completed boarding when he arrived at the departure hall. His lateness at that time was due to sheer oversight. He had not carefully checked the ticket he bought about a month earlier. The flight had been fixed for 11 a.m., but Bepo thought he saw 1 p.m. He pleaded frantically to be reconsidered, but the airline insisted the door had been closed, preparatory to takeoff. He traveled the following day with the same airline, but only after paying a $100 penalty. This time, he was sure the flight was 10 p.m. Very sure. He confidently dismissed sarcasm and teasing by Sherry, who repeatedly asked him to check his ticket to affirm the time. "I hope this time what you saw is not 1 p.m., she said, over the phone on the eve of the trip. "I am sure, 100% sure." "Well, I will still advise you use your glasses or ask 1 or 2 people to help you confirm." "The devil is a liar. My flight is 10 p.m. No lateness, no penalty this time," Bepo had boasted. The joke notwithstanding, Bepo ensured he left his Adeniyi Jones Ikeja home earlier than he would have done probably a year before. He stepped out by 3 p.m. In the past, he would have waited till about an hour later. That was when commercial motorcycles, aka Okada, had not been banned. Many people believed they constituted a nuisance in the city, breaking traffic rules and limbs through a lot of accident. Yet, their fiercest critics admitted there were days they became the saving grace. When Lagos traffic became a demon wedged between you and a very important appointment, and you risked being late or losing a target, Okadas were the messiahs. Air travelers hoping to beat the traffic and arrive at the airport in good time knew this. Hence, they always hopped on the motorcycles as a last resort. But after some dilly-dallying on policy, the government banned them, clipping their nuisance. As he was about to call Uber, a ride-hailing service, he heard a knock on the door. "Mr. Bepo," the visitor called. He never mistook the voice. It was that of his landlord, Mr. Ogunwale. As he opened the door, he saw the man flanked by the landlady and their 2 grandchildren, Jide and Kemi. They had come to bid him goodbye. "We guess you must be setting out by now," the landlord said, as the family walked in. "Yes, just thinking of calling Uber." "You will not need to. I will drive you to the airport," the landlord said. "Oh, that will be taking on too much. Please don't inconvenience yourself, sir." "You have been very good to us, Mr. Bepo." "That cannot be anything too much," the landlady interjected. "You have been a very good neighbor. I can't call you a tenant. You have been more of a family member to us." "I will follow you," Jide, the landlord's grandson, cut in. "To the airport or London?" Bepo asked as he shook hands with the boy. "London," Jide said. "You want to Japa?" 7-year-old Kemi chipped in. Bepo felt uneasy at the expression Japa. He wondered how, at her age, Kemi knew the term and whatever it meant. As everyone laughed off the Japa humor, the landlord pacified Jide. "Don't worry, we'll take you along to the airport. Then, next week, Mr. Bepo will come back to take you to London. Is that all right?" "Yes," Jide said, jumping excitedly. Beyond the Japa palaver, Bepo felt guilty that he would be abandoning Jide. He had taken special interest in the boy for about a year, after he began coaching him on elocution and African history at weekends. It wasn't a paid affair, but Bepo always enjoyed sessions with the boy. Mr. Ogunwale said a brief prayer for the traveler, after which he returned to his apartment and moved out his car from the garage. It was a Honda Pilot with a boot spacious enough for the anticipated luggage. Bepo packed 2 big bags and a smaller one. They contained books and wear in that order. His wife had advised he come as light as he could. Of course, that didn't include packing iru, locust beans, and egusi, melon seeds, ground with crayfish. She also requested the purchase of dry snail. He found the items at the big and well-patronized Oyingbo market in Lagos, a famous hub for the delicacies, ever bustling, a Yoruba proverb attests, "Ojo Oyingbo ko mo pe nikan o wa." The Oyingbo market never gets to find out a certain person did not even turn up. Before D-Day, Bepo had sold his Pathfinder sports utility vehicle for 1.5 million naira. The price could have been higher, but he was satisfied it was Stardom's accountant, Mr. Jeremy Amos, that bought it. His deep freezer and electronics were also good enough for action, but he chose to gift them to his landlady. Bepo, his landlord, and the two kids were about setting out when his phone rang. It was Mrs. Grace Ape, the vice principal. She had driven from her base in Ogba Ikeja and wanted to know if he had left home already for the airport. With her in the car were the accountant, Mr. Oyelano, and Mr. Audu. They had planned to join Bepo at home and accompany him to the airport or meet him there. He did not feel there was a need for this, but he could not stop them, especially as they were already close to his location. He urged them to wait for him at Ikeja Underbridge. 20 minutes later, he met them, and the two-car convoy headed to the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, MM2. There was a light traffic, first by the roundabout leading to MM2, then later by NACO. They arrived at the MM2 departure hall at exactly 4:07 p.m. Departures. The word, boldly splashed on the building, ruffled Bepo's emotion. It was real after all. He was leaving. He stifled a tear. Mr. Ogunwale and the young ones gave Bepo a final hug in front of the hall. Airport personnel received Bepo's luggage and transferred it onto two trolleys. Bepo gave Jide and his sister 5,000 naira and asked them to greet Grandma very well. The kids chorused, "Thank you, sir!" But Jide did not forget. "I will be expecting you next week. You must not fail, oh," he reminded Bepo. The landlord expressed gratitude for the cash gift to the children. Thereafter, they got in the car and returned home. After the VP had packed her car, the Stardom Quartet walked in, keeping Bepo company as he went through the check-in process. They chatted about the parting feast at the school. Mr. Oyelano particularly praised Bepo's contributions to Stardom schools, and then added jokingly that all staff, most especially Audu, should borrow a leaf. "Well, I don't know why you singled me out as if I have not been working too hard already," Audu said, adding, "The only thing I am happy about is that it's not the accountant advising me on what I should borrow." "I am trying to understand the connection," Mr. Amos puzzled. "To borrow a leaf means to do the same thing the principal did," Mrs. Ape tried to explain. "That's not what I'm saying," Audu replied smilingly. "It's my turn to borrow money from the cooperative next week. And I don't want to hear any cock and bull stories like a snake has swallowed the money." Audu was in his element on his plans for traveling overseas. He promised he will never cry like some people and vowed he will slaughter 7 cows the day he got a visa, even if it were to Afghanistan. Check-in started at 5:30 p.m. After about an hour, going through security points and getting his bags checked, Bepo got his boarding pass. Seat number 56, window side, gate 2A. It was getting late for Stardom team to hit the traffic-laden road back home. Almost all lived far from the airport. Audu, the WAG, stayed in Ikorodu. The CRK teacher lived in Mowe, Ogun State. Only the VP and the accountant stayed in Ogba and Ujodu, Lagos, respectively. They bid Bepo farewell and departed. The excitement of the past 3 hours made Bepo forget he had his phone in the inner pocket of his jacket, a complement to a white t-shirt and a pair of black jeans trousers. He quickly checked the phone to see if he had calls. His fear was confirmed. He had missed some. The MD, former colleagues at Stardom, but more prominently his wife. She must have wanted updates about the trip, he thought, yet he could not make any call. He and other passengers were already undergoing final scrutiny at the boarding gate. Promptly, Bepo sent a message to her saying all was going on fine. After the scrutiny, Bepo heaved a sigh of relief and relaxed on a chair alongside other passengers, all waiting for the boarding call expected at 9:30 p.m. Barely 10 minutes after he sat, he dozed off and slipped into a dream. He was at the Heritage Slave Museum in Badagry. Relics of slavery hung on the walls. He saw slaves and their white masters. The captives yelled, groaned, shrieked as they were whipped, kicked, and clobbered. Some were pierced in their ears, lips, arms, and legs with red-hot iron. After what seemed like a month of torture, those who survived the ordeal were moved to the point of no return. In chains, they filed into the ship like sheep, headed for a slaughter slab. Bepo began counting the slaves, even as whips tore their skins again and again. 1, 2, 3, 7 million. As the last man was pushed into the ship already filled to capacity, a white man came to Bepo, pointed towards the vessel and said, "Enter!" "No!" Bepo screamed with all the strength he could muster. Body, mind, spirit, and soul. "I say no!" he cried again, leaping up from the seat. A white airline official stood beside him, completely at a loss as to what was going on. Seconds earlier, the official had found the intending traveler fast asleep. He had whispered into Bepo's ears and tapped gently on his shoulder as the aircraft readied for takeoff. Some security personnel and bystanders, drawn by the noise, also came closer. They persuaded him to come to himself and hurriedly get on board. At 10:45 p.m., the plane took off as Bepo drifted between dreamland and reality. Monday after Bepo's departure, reality stared everyone like a boil in the nose. The weekend ought to have sufficed to brush off at least a little of the pains of his migration, but it did not. The hard truth waited for every student at the school gate. It used to be every Monday and Wednesday. Bepo will stand at the gates to welcome the learners brought by school buses and or parents' cars. A few students came by themselves. It was a display of affection every member of the academic community and friends of the school could predict. But here was a new era Monday. Mr. Bepo, the principal, was nowhere to be seen. But it was during the assembly that the void became quite vivid. For the first time since all the students came to stardom, Principal, as they sometimes called him, was not available to talk to them, gist with them, threaten them, laugh with them. The vice principal stepped in to address them, but Mrs. Appe's speech did not strike the usual chord, or so the students thought. Everyone, including the MD, felt how low the mood of the morning was. "Don't worry, student, you will soon have another principal," Mrs. Ibidakpo Gloss assured as she took the microphone from the VP. The promise hardly assuaged the students' feelings. A few who dared murmured their non-acceptance of the appeasement. But just as the MD will say more words, a shout of "Principal" reverberated at the gate. Was it a joke? All at once, everyone looked in the direction. There he was! Yes, he! Bepo, of course! Grinning, arms wide open as the students rushed towards him, screaming excitedly. They swept him off his feet, bore him high on their shoulders, and began a frenzied dance around the premises. "I am back! I am back!" he cried. "I am here! I didn't go! I'm not going again! My heart is here! This is where my heart is! I'm here to complete my mission!" The man's voice was barely heard as the students gyrated to the school's victory song. "We are stars, we are stars, we are stars of stardom. We are stars, we are always winning. We are stars and we have won. No night so dark, no cloud so mean. Yet stardom schools will win. We are stars, we are stars, we are stars of stardom. We are stars, we're always winning. We are stars and we have won. No night so dark, no cloud so mean. Yet stardom schools will win."
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel.